Let's go. The currency of connection. Let's connect, baby.
Hey, what's going on? What's going on, fam? Welcome to another episode of Rich Conversations. I am Damon Rich.
I am Tamika Rich.
And
Good
thank
evening.
you for joining us this evening. I need my mouse because I gotta control the computer from way over here. Way over here. I gotta
You
control.
want me to just pull that table up? Would that be easier?
That'll mess up some stuff if you do that.
Now, where's our camera? This one?
This one right here.
Oh,
this one right here.
right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, so
Got two cameras. I'm like, where am I looking?
Two cameras. I'm eventually gonna have all three cameras like set up when I finish the full studio. But so thank you for joining us tonight. We're gonna be talking about branding, like we told you, with Rich Conversations. Y'all might be used to rich relationships, late night marriage. We made a little slight shift. It's now Rich Conversations. We're gonna be talking about a whole bunch of stuff.
Right.
I have some interesting guests on, but tonight we're gonna talk about branding. If you are a content creator, business owner, you're thinking about jumping into content creation, business owner, building a brand, we want to share our story with you, our brand journey, our brand rebranding journey. And here's the great thing about it. Tonight, we're also going to allow you, we're going to drop something in the link in a little bit where you can join us live and ask us your branding questions. Now, we're just going to share what we have come through, what we are learning so far. So get your notebook, get your paper, get your pen. If you're an entrepreneur, you in this business game, you really want to you want to listen in on this because it has been quite the insightful journey.
Yes.
And it has been unexpected. And it has been slightly painful as I reach certain realizations for myself. I can't speak for you. I can speak for me.
Same.
And as I'm learning, like, I'm not going to like roll out the thing, but I'm going to talk about the journey and what we've been doing to learn more about rebranding. Again, we're going to, here in a little bit, give us about 15 minutes. And we're going to drop a link where you can request to join the show, and we will bring you on and we will answer and talk through some of your branding or rebranding questions. Because maybe you're on the same fence.
Right.
Maybe you are thinking about rebranding. Maybe you're thinking about branding for the first time ever.
True.
This is for you. This is for you. And here's the thing, like, I know we get attached to certain ideas and concepts and different things. I didn't realize how attached I was to my current brand, the Relationship GPT.
Right. Yes.
And when I came to the realization, like, it was bubbling, but when I came to the realization that I'm going to have to let the Relationship GPT go, I'm going to have to retire. The Relationship GPT is not dying. Right. I got to retire the brand, the Relationship GPT, because I put so much sweat equity into developing that brand. It's everywhere. And it took me a while to even get comfortable with it. But that brand, I got to retire the brand. I got to retire the brand. And I'll talk a little bit about how I got there, why I came to this point. But what about you?
And then how I knew without you telling me.
Yeah, I'd like to know. You brought that up. How did you know?
Something just told me as we were diving deeper into different branding conversations and teachings and podcasts and all of the things, and then just praying and listening, and I was like, oh my goodness. So when it came to me, here's the thing, I was like, God, how am I gonna tell him that, or talk about it, and in what way? And so bringing it up, so I didn't really think about it anymore. I just prayed, and I was like, okay, you'll like lead me and guide me into bringing up the conversation or talking about it, or at least And my thing was going to be a question to you actually. So
Hmm.
what do you think about, or what if, God
Hmm.
was saying this? And so that's how I was going to do it. So when you brought it up, I was like, yes. No, I was
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, so I don't really have to do it. You already did it, and then
Yeah.
I can just confirm it,
Yes.
basically confirm it. So
Yeah.
um, yeah, but not just for you, for me, but I've been having this go back and forth just for a little bit, or the
Hmm.
battle still not settled, but getting closer. I'll
Yeah.
say that, closer
Yeah.
for me. But it is hard to let go of things that you put equity into,
Yes.
or you just knew this was the thing, and it was a passion
Yeah.
of yours, and not just yours, but ours, and was like, okay, and you're excited about it, and your emotion go into it, and you're like, it's like when um you're actually trying to be intentional in life, and
Hmm.
then really acknowledging God in all your ways,
Yeah.
and then that thing, and even for me, like surrendering will, just
Yeah.
surrendering totally altogether, but surrendering your will, and then a lot of times we say or we do, but we don't necessarily, we're not ready for the answer,
Yeah.
and so when
Yeah.
you
We
actually,
pray for answers that we definitely are not ready for.
right, and then here's the thing: when you get the answer, you have to receive it.
Hmm.
So a lot of times we don't receive it; we'll leave it right where it is.
Hmm. You know how it is sometimes with an answer when we pray.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we get it out, like let it be a check,
Mm-hmm.
right out the mail. I'm gonna
Right.
open that joker right away. But when it's a bill,
Yeah.
when it's something I've got to do, not
Mm-hmm.
something that's coming to me, but something I've got to send something away,
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden now it's a different story. I'm gonna take my time. I know just about round when I
Mm-hmm.
got to pay that bill, but I don't want to look at it,
Right.
right?
Exactly.
And so I feel like that's what was happening. It's like,
Mhm.
hey, and I'll tell you when I kind of so we one of the branding decisions I do feel we can share a little bit is the rebranding of just kind of what we do, and this goes lockstep with when I kind of start getting the itch and understand that some
Mhm.
branding things had changed. So we were talking about streamlining our businesses. We have
Mhm.
a few different brands or whatever, and we're all over the place to a certain degree, and getting things like even going from late night marriage to
Rich
rich
conversations.
conversations, but
Mhm.
then we do rich relationships, which we do have a retreat coming up. So for couples, let me take a moment for a quick what do they call that thing? Not station identification, a quick commercial.
Ooh,
So
commercial
if
break.
you would like to get on the list and know when the Rich Relationships couple weekend intensive is going to drop,
Mhm.
the tickets, the early birds, go ahead and sign up at www.richrelationships.com/retreats. All right. So back to it.
There we go.
But when we were talking one day and we talked about retiring the name, the brand, Marriage Refresh.
Mhm.
And then when I got that memory about when we did our
Started it.
first ever, and it was 2009, our first ever marriage seminar,
Yes.
Marriage and Coffee.
Mhm. I forgot about that one. Actually, I'm glad the memory
I,
came up, because you know which one I thought about.
what,
The
Marriage Under Construction?
under construction.
No,
Yeah.
Marriage and
Yeah.
Coffee was
The
our
marriage under
very first
construction.
ever marriage. It's when the yogurt place was open down here, and we
Mhm.
rented that part. And Marriage and Construction, Marriage and Coffee.
Mhm.
I still got the deck. I was like, we need to dust this teaching off and share it again. But
Right.
Marriage and Coffee, and it was our first ever live event.
Mhm.
And man, I was like, we're retiring Marriage Refresh.
Right.
We're retiring Marriage Refresh. And that's something different.
Mhm.
It's like, man, you know,
Right.
it's we're retiring Marriage Refresh, and that was something different. And so that started, but I thought, oh, okay, it stopped there. And then the one thing we're doing too, and bringing all our stuff under. So if you know me, you know us, our
Mhm.
our consulting business, Reaching Three Ways. And reaching three ways, whether you know it or not, is at the heart of everything the Rich Clan does, because it's our heart posture.
Right.
And ooh, when you finish that one video I sent you, you gonna understand, like, our heart posture is really reaching three ways. And it's kind of like God is saying, to me, it's like, hey, y'all keep trying to reinvent new stuff, and I already gave you the blueprint. So reaching three ways.
I was just gonna say, are we the only ones get excited about sharing videos and clips, and not just
Oh
clips, but
no,
even long form
video.
podcasts and
Yeah.
stuff like that
I,
with each other, and it's like get excited about it.
I don't know. I
It's
think
like,
a
did
lot
you
of people
listen
get.
to it? Did I listen to
I
it? Did
think a lot of people get excited about the shorts and little quick Instagram
Mm-hmm.
TikToks, but yeah, I don't know. We get excited about sharing long form, like you got to watch it for an
Right. And
hour,
I'm like,
30 minutes, an
you
hour.
looking like this better be good. An
This better
hour and
be
30
good.
minutes, some of them 2 hours, and
Yeah,
then we get into it. It's like, you not finished yet? I want to talk about it. No,
yeah,
you not
yeah.
finished yet. So,
See, I'm almost finished. I got 10 more minutes. You got a little bit more,
yeah, I
so
have a
I have
lot
to
bit
wait.
more.
I have to wait for you. But so we have, we'll announcing here first. We're going to be launching our consolidating some of what we do in this The Rich Coaching and Consulting Group. That's who we are, who will be. The Rich Coaching and Consulting Group. And there's a lot more information that'll be coming out about that and what that means. But as our personal brand, so that's our business brand.
Right.
Which I'm just learning the difference. There's a business brand, there's a personal brand. That's our business brand.
Right.
But then we had to go. I didn't think I was going to end up down dealing with my personal brand, which is the Relationship GPT. And people know me by that. But it's about to change. And it's about to pivot.
So
and
one
it
was
hurt.
just getting us ready for the next.
It was. And it hurt. It hurt. We're gonna drop some of the resources we've been listening to. The one video I sent you today, I even shared in the Next Level Orlando chapter. I was like, guys, you gotta listen to this. It's just powerful. But it's like, hey, paying attention and understanding and getting clear. Getting clear. Your brand is probably struggling because the person that's at the root of it, you, are not clear.
Yeah.
You're not clear in life. You're not clear about your brand. You're not clear about who you serve. You're not clear about why you're serving them. Right? Your brand is probably struggling because of the lack of clarity that is in you.
For sure.
Right? Any of y'all can relate to that.
And
any
I'm
of
guilty.
You,
I definitely can relate.
Any of y'all can relate to not being fully clear. I'll put my hand up. We've been doing marriage refresh since 2009. We started probably a little bit before that. Put my hand up. We're marriage refresh. And then, oh, hold on, reaching three ways. And oh, hold on, here's Blessed Her. Oh, hold on, it's Tamika Rich Styles. No, it's Damon Rich Speaks. No, it's the Relationship GPT. And then I feel bad because I'm like, I need to just stick with something. I feel like an idiot.
Right.
I feel like an idiot in listening to. So one of the people we've been listening to, which I've been on him for a minute, but it's been so awesome. Like, stuff he did a year ago is now popping up in my algorithm as if it's like God is saying, this is the season you need to hear this. But it's Chris Do, or Chris Do, D-O. You need to listen to him. Marketing, branding genius. And then this one guy, I only listened to one video by him, is Rory Vesden or something like that. I can't remember his last name. I can see it. I think it's VESDN. We'll drop those into the description and into the chat. But we've been listening to them, and it's like I've been on Chris Do for about a week. Right. And then finally something else came up with a guy I listened to from Think Media, his own Takori oh my good, Omar Takori,
Mm-hmm.
listening to him, and he's interviewing this guy, and I'm like, oh, okay, let me look. And I had like flipped past it a couple of times. And I was like, okay, let me put it in the watch for later. Then okay, let's watch.
Right.
Later has arrived. Watch it.
Mm-hmm.
It keeps coming up. So I start watching that. I'm like, man, okay. Between Chris and this guy, they got me all the better. I don't want to listen to nobody else
Right.
because I'm mad.
Don't be mad. No, you and me both. I started listening. I was like, don't send me anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, so you
Get me
might
all the way together.
got all the way, but we might be asking. You might be asking the question: how do I know if I need to pivot on my brand?
Mm-hmm.
How do I know? Um, listen, let me tell you something. I'm gonna give you some real game. Give you some practical game. Something you can do. Hopefully you won't do it while you watching the show, but you can. I don't want you distracted, but you can. Chat GPT will help you.
Mm-hmm.
I've been on a week long conversation with Chat GPT,
Mm-hmm.
exploring and digging in about this rebrand. First, first, I'm gonna tell you to do this in Chat GPT. Tell Chat GPT, act as a brand strategist.
Mm-hmm.
And if you already use Chat GPT, it's important that you include this next part. Act as a brand strategist, and you just met me, and you're helping me create or rebrand.
Mm-hmm.
If you already use Chat GPT a lot, and Chat GPT memory, if you have the paid version and the memory already knows a lot about you, you
Mm-hmm.
will need to say the following. And you are not allowed to use any previous information you know about my brand.
Right.
Treat me like a brand new customer. And Chat GPT is typically going to spit out some questions that it needs you to answer first, and then it's going to start shaping your brand. Then you go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth until you get there.
Yeah.
What spurred me to change, to rebrand from the relationship GPT is, as much as I consider myself a relational expert, I consider myself a relational change agent. I am so much more than that.
Mm.
In the brand, so when I did Chat GPT, the relationship GPT,
Mm-hmm.
when I became the relationship GPT and started that, I felt more, it was more of a marketing move because it's a
Mm-hmm.
very cool name, it's
Right.
catchy,
Yeah.
it gets people's attention,
Mm-hmm.
than an authenticity move.
That's good.
So I was doing
Mm-hmm.
it so that it would catch people's attention.
Mm-hmm.
And then hopefully by catching their attention,
It would draw me
it would
in.
draw me in so
Mm-hmm.
that I can interact and impact them with.
Right.
But I have so much more than just relationships to talk to people about. And really, even at the core relationship, there's a step before helping you get that healthy relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really what I'm really good at. That's what I'm really purposed to do. That's the authentic me.
Mm-hmm.
The Chat GPT, or the relationship GPT, caused me to need to be more out front.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I can. Like, I don't mind getting on the stage. I love taking the stage. I love talking and encouraging and inspiring people. Love
Right.
it. But I also like to be a quiet strategist. My natural way of getting people to their answer.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that I was getting away from that authentic part of myself because I had become an answer giver
Mm-hmm.
instead of a guide to answers.
Yeah.
Is to ask you a bunch of questions. Never give you the answer until we have explored all the questions.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized that's when I'm at my best. Not when I can give you an answer,
Right.
but you're less likely to follow it. But if I take you on
Mm-hmm.
a journey to discover the answer,
For sure.
there are times, yeah, I need to give you an answer. But
Mm-hmm.
if time permits, I need to lead you to the answer.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Because a lot of times you take the answer and then you go, especially if it's really fast, and you go, I don't know if this is the right answer. Then you kind of ponder over it. Well, I
Mm-hmm.
guess so. Or how much, do I trust the person or the answer? And,
Yeah.
all of the things. So a lot of times you kind of go back and forth, and then you'll take it, then you'll use it, and then if it doesn't work out,
Yeah.
it's your fault.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
If it
when
don't work, yeah, it's your
it's
fault.
his
I
fault.
followed your advice.
Mhm.
Nah, that's not how it worked.
Mhm.
So, so it's an authenticity thing to me.
Mhm.
I want to be now, mind you, you're gonna still see me in my hats, my glasses, those type of things because that's where I feel comfortable. Let me tell you something. If you're a business owner right now, come here. If you are a business owner, come here. Just real quick. If you want your employees to give you the best, create an environment where they can be authentically them.
Mhm.
Okay.
True. Yep.
I'll say it again a little louder for the people in the back, for the business owners. If you want your people to give you the best, create an environment where they can be their most authentic self. We good?
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, pumpkin? All right. Now, authenticity, right? Authenticity was the reason why
Mhm.
I felt the need to pivot. I want to be authentic, all the way authentic. Relationships, and when I talk
Right.
to people about relationships, yeah, I'm authentic, but I
Mhm.
want it to be all the way authentic. I don't want to just give you the answer.
Right.
I want to ask you questions, but I ain't gonna tell you the new branding yet, right?
Right.
So,
It's in the works.
talk to us about you, honey. How did you go there? And we finna get ready to drop the link that if you want to come on air and ask questions about branding
Mhm.
or business or entrepreneurship, you can use that link to join the show live, and we will bring you on air to jump in with us. So that'll be that,
Mhm.
right? Um, and if you can't see the link, let me know. Drop a comment, and we'll get it to you. So, what about you?
For me, I don't know, same once we started the marriage refresh. And it's kind of one of those things where you kind of know it's coming or it needs to be done.
Mm-hmm.
But again, because it's your baby or you're attached to it emotionally, it's a little more difficult or hard, or you drag your feet on it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, even with this, for me, it's just been like in my surrender prayer and time and being intentional, really wanting to be intentional about what is it that I need to do, what is it that God wants me to do,
Mm-hmm.
versus what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, being authentic to that.
Yeah.
Um, into the person I am. But for me, it goes with so many different thoughts. Because when you were talking, I was thinking about when you were saying, I can do this or I do these things and it's good. But being authentic or going back, you have to really go back to me, even like childhood. And this has been a journey for a little bit, even getting to where I am now, in
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneurship and job, and something I've always desired to do. But it was like when you're so used to you need this type of job, or you'll do good in this area,
Mm-hmm.
or this career or this thing, because of, especially when your motivator is money or
Mm-hmm.
finance, or you can't do that
Yes.
because nobody makes money doing that, or is that a
Right.
real job, and all of the things. So you have these questions, and so usually you end up doing or being something that someone else wanted you to do, or you followed in
Ooh.
someone else's footsteps. And for me, I love medicine. That was my thing, and um it accomplished what it needed to accomplish at our
Mm-hmm.
life in it at that time. And I loved it. I learned a lot, all of the things. But I was thinking one day, and it's that question of why.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't you do this? And
Mm-hmm.
so you go like, I've never given myself permission, one, to go back there
Mm-hmm.
and think about, can I really do this? you
Right.
know
Right.
Of course, it's hard work. So people just jumping out there, and we're talking about branding and entrepreneurship and all of the things. And even if you're not an entrepreneur, you still are a brand.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times you have to you don't realize that, and how that has been broken down for us, and it's
Mhm.
like one of those aha moments.
Mhm.
It's really good stuff. But just going all the way back to that, and then what am I good at versus um what am I great at? And then when
Mhm.
there's two or three, four different things, it'd be like, well, you're good in this area and this area and this area. So,
Mhm.
what do you choose? What do you do? And then you try something, you go, oh, I really, I like it. But for me, it's definitely got, what is it that I'm supposed to be doing now? Or what is it that you need me to do now? And when you say that, most of the time, people think, spiritual in the
Mhm.
context of ministry or something like that. And it's not. It's just an everyday work, or every what you do.
This man gonna wreck you at the end of this video. Go ahead.
You gonna wreck me
He
at
gonna
it.
wreck you.
And I'm not saying they're not intertwined,
Mhm.
but knowing I keep hitting this mic, the balance of them, or bringing the two, merging the two together.
Mhm.
And so it's definitely about merging those two things for me together.
Right.
And so just with that, I knew it was time. And I'm thinking about the dream that I had, that,
Mhm.
was years ago,
Mhm.
about this very moment, and God not letting me wake up and
Mhm.
still not letting me remember what it was, because
Mhm.
I saw it as vivid as day in the dream. And I was like pleading in the dream, Lord, um you're not gonna let me remember. I want to remember, like, when I
Mhm.
wake up. And I woke up, and sure enough. And so it's trusting him in the process, in the journey.
Yeah.
And so um a lot of times we're either afraid of failure, what
Mhm.
people are going to say, all of the things, instead of just keep going. And if one thing doesn't work, or that's not it, it's just not it.
It's just not it.
And keep moving forward. And so yeah, so rebranding is just where we are now,
Yeah.
and definitely where I'm at. And so I'm not doing it, I'm taking it slow. And so
Mhm.
I think a lot of times
Oh, I'm glad you
I've been
said
on this
that.
about the plate and the whole thing, and where God just has me at this moment in my life,
Mhm.
and taking it slow. And I think we're in the world, remember, not of it. And
Mhm.
so that has been constantly ringing. And God, what does that look like? And so instead of trying to keep up,
Mhm.
um, taking it day by day,
Mhm.
and
See,
going through the process.
yeah, this guy is really um gonna really wreck you at the end. I'm gonna say something that he said that really resonated. Hey
Uh-huh.
V, how you doing? Um,
Hey.
I'm gonna say something that
Uh-huh.
he said, which was, um, so if you may have heard this guy Simon Sinek, and he's the one that's start with why,
Mhm.
and he was saying, like, I love start with why. He loves Simon Sinek. He
Mhm.
says, but start with why works for businesses.
Mm.
When you're a brand, a personal brand, an entrepreneur, you're doing that. It start with who.
Mhm.
Like, who is
Who?
your who? Not who, what is your why, but who is your who.
Who? Mhm.
So when you think about who is your who, then it's got like, okay, I'm on a whole nother vibe of who am I sent here to serve through what I do.
Mhm.
And it's not about the this in there too. He says it's not about the income account. It's
Right.
about the impact account.
That's good.
So how does your impact account look?
Mhm.
And he used Jesus as an example. He's like, Jesus died over 2,000 years ago, but there's no one who had a more reach and impact in their
Mhm.
brand. He's using that in that
Mhm.
context
Mhm.
than Jesus. Look what he did. He took a few close people to him, taught them, then sent them out. And then they brought more customers in with them, and they brought more and they brought more, and it's just kept going.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, because he's talking about this, he said, we think that, hey, oh, I got 50 customers. If I want to make more money, I got to get 100 more customers.
Right.
He's like, no. I don't need to do that. I just need to go deeper with the 50 I have. And if I go deep enough with them, if each one of them tell somebody, because they're finding value, that word of mouth, then he's like, then they're going to bring the people. So investing, going deeper in them. Right. And so often what we want to do as entrepreneurs is sell people the surface level and do numbers. What are the numbers? What are the numbers? No. What is the impact? What is the impact? Whose life is the problem you're solving changing?
Right. Yeah. When you said that, I'm thinking about medicine, because, you hear so many times when corporate companies buy, the hospitals and the doctor's offices and all. The thing is, like, I feel like I got to run people through like cattle, and they're not used to it, where they get the one-on-one time a little bit more. Of course, you have to be mindful, cautious about, your time, because they're patients and you do make a living at it, but being authentic at it, and how you're really bringing value and helping the person. But when you don't have the time, or you're just, because they're all about numbers, you're moving them through. Same thing. When you're thinking about how many followers or people I can get. Hey.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
and I don't know. I guess I'm looking up because of the screen instead of right there. How are you? Thanks for joining us in the conversation. If you have a question, let us know. Drop it in the chat comment.
Yeah. Or if you want to jump on the screen, you got a brand question, feel free.
That too.
Hit the link. It's in the comments. So, this is what's so important. As I'm doing this brand, I am having to get super clear on my who and the what. Right? And I'm there. I'm there. I'm still looking over it, mulling over it, doing it, but I'm there. And like, this is what I do, and this is what I do really well. And this is stuff that I've done in my professional career, in state government, in private sector. You just have to look back at the pattern. What has God allowed you to do repeatedly through the brand that is you? Sometimes we're making it so hard because we're trying to make money, and we're trying to make money in what's popular, as opposed to making money in what's effective.
Right.
So I'm gonna give somebody
in long term.
In long term,
success,
right?
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, and this is not a knock. Your thing might be you do the most fire nails ever, and that's your entrepreneur, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But let's say you're a manicurist, or I don't know what their official name is. What's the official name for people who do nails? Okay, you're not a nail barista, but you do your thing,
nail
right?
tech,
nail tech, whatever. There's a formal name for it, and they get paid good money, and they do great work.
Right.
That's great. You can blow up on social media, and your shop stay popping. That's great. That is your reach. That's what I'm learning from Rory. That is your reach. But what is your impact? Right? Now, what could impact look like?
Right.
As a personal brand, yes, the service you might deliver is doing nails. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take some young women, or if you're a man doing it, some young men or some young people who may have an interest in what I do.
Right.
And I'm going to teach them how to do it at such an age that they can avoid certain financial pitfalls that I had to go through, and make them help them be a productive citizen and a productive business.
Right.
Now I have impact. Because I'm starting to expand. It's no longer about my reach. It's about my impact, because they're going to appreciate that. Right. You might end up showing that high schooler the reality of being able to be that nail tech and deliver great customer service to the point that as soon as they're age, they're able to get their license, they're able to do it, and now they're able, maybe they didn't get a scholarship but they want to go to college, but now they can pay for themselves to go through college because
Right.
they make decent money.
Mm-hmm.
Now you are
Don't have
having
to be in debt.
impact.
Right.
They are able to graduate from college with zero debt, all because you took the time to not only do your reach in
Mm-hmm.
your business, but you said, now I want to make impact.
Mm-hmm.
When he was saying that difference between reach and impact, I was like, man,
Mm-hmm.
I want to have an impact. That's at our core when it
Mm-hmm.
comes down to our marriage stuff. I want a better community. I
Yeah.
cannot have a better community if I don't have better marriages.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then I tell you, sometimes I will shy away from stuff because I do want more of the impact, and I'm intentional about certain things than just the reach or the number,
Yeah,
or the.
yeah. If I could just have 10 young men or 10 serious entrepreneurs or whatever, like up close and personal,
Mm-hmm.
let's get it for a year. I would be happy with that
Mm-hmm.
and working on that. Because here's the thing I know, when I over deliver, when I give the value and add value to their life, they're gonna say, somebody's gonna say, how did you do that? They're gonna like, well, I had a coach.
Mm-hmm.
And my coach did this. That's what I'm hearing.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Doe had a coach. Rory had a coach.
Mm-hmm.
Et had a coach. Jeremy had a coach. Inky, all these people that I know and interacted with or been around or listened to their content, they all
I had
had
a coach.
coaches. Rory has coached Et. He's coached Amy Porterfield. He's coached Ed Marlette. He's coached some powerhouses.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But he's not moved by the name of the people that he's coached.
Mm-hmm.
He's moved by the fact, and I love this, he's moved by the fact that when he was able to help them up their game, they were already successes in their own right,
All
but he
right.
was able to add to and help them move up their game. Then he saw that their impact
Mm-hmm.
expanded. He like, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because when their impact expanded, his expanded.
Right. To help add that value.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like real talk from a standpoint of like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
what am I doing? What is my brand? And here's the thing about your brand. Whew, whether it's a business brand or a personal brand, your
Mm-hmm.
brand is you every day.
Yeah.
So when I want to pop off, I got to remember, man, my brand.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm mindful of how I respond when I'm walking around with relationship GPT all the time,
Right.
and how I act or how I conduct myself. That's my brand.
Mm-hmm.
That's my brand, and
Yeah.
it is. This is how deep rooted it is with me. And DJ can tell you this. He was getting ready to go off and hang out with his friends the other night. I said, "Okay, son." I said, "Be safe
Mm-hmm.
and honor your name.
Mm.
Your last name Rich, it means something.
Right.
Be safe, and while you're hanging out,
Mm-hmm.
honor your name.
Right.
Remember what this brand carries."
Right. And I don't think when we um were younger, we're told that, or what,
Hmm.
and for whatever reason, it's like, yeah, okay, but it was important because we
Yeah,
respected that. I don't think a lot of young people do.
yeah,
This day and age, one of those things that kind of died
yeah,
down or whatever for whatever reason. But yeah, when you were told that,
yeah.
and I don't think you quite understood it then, but
Hmm.
then as you got older, you did,
Yeah,
and now you do, but you knew you had to respect that,
yeah,
what they said, and act accordingly.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you. You know what I'm grateful
Mhm.
for. I'm grateful that even before I learned to tell our kids to honor their name,
Mhm.
that they've seen us honored enough that they seem to just natively understand this is what it means to be a rich,
Right.
and I'm gonna honor my name.
Right. And one of the things he said, it's reputation.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah,
your brand, your name, it's your reputation, and not so much the number or the status. And a
yeah,
lot of times, you have the brands that have status or name or whatever, but it's your reputation. Even when you buy something that has, you know, a big label or a name, and you spend all that money for it, you want to make sure it's a good product, or that reputation is there,
mm-hmm,
and it's not just a name or just popular or just something that an influencer or somebody put out there for you to buy.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to look up something. I don't know why it's not showing up for me. Um, sorry.
What you looking for?
It's something I had. Um, something I have. For some reason, my chats are not showing up. It's something I had in my chat that I was going to share
Mm-hmm.
with everyone tonight. And now I can't find it.
Mm-hmm.
Now I can't find it. Okay. If I find it, I'll drop it out there for you guys, so you'll have it. But any questions around, hey, let me ask this first.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you with your branding or rebranding journey? Where are you at?
Mm-hmm.
Are you just starting?
Mm-hmm.
You don't even have a brand. I don't even know what a brand is. I think Chris Do what he says is, or Doe. I'm gonna get it right. What Chris Doe
Please do.
says is, you so corny.
Yeah.
You so corny. What Chris says is that the um, brand is the digitization of your reputation.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't even know what it is, it's like brand is the digitization, whether you put it on print, you put it on the email, you put it on a website. Brand is the digitization of your reputation.
Right.
That's what it is,
Mm-hmm.
right? So here's a couple of things, a couple of nuggets I want to leave you with from Chris Doe and Roy Vaden, Vaden, Rory Vaden,
Mm-hmm.
Rory, last name Vaden, Vaden. Chris Doe says, branding is about clarity. The clearer you are, the clearer your message, the stronger your brand.
Mm-hmm.
If you had to write down your message, what is my message?
Right.
If you had to write that down and it can only be one sentence, what is it? Right?
Mm-hmm.
What is the message?
Right.
Right? I don't like the saying, people say it all the time, people buy pain. And it's easy to sell pain. There's plenty of it to go around.
Mm-hmm.
But what people are starting to buy more of now is authenticity.
For sure.
Are you real? Have you gone through something that resonates with me, that can help me solve something that I may have gone through or am going through?
Mm-hmm.
People are starting to dig past the surface.
Right.
People are no longer interested in the reality TV version of a brand.
Mm-hmm. That's good analogy.
They are more interested in the real life biopic of the brand.
Right.
Right. What is it that is real and authentic and true about what you're calling a brand? And I'll go back to the nail tech example. There should be a signature that comes along with having the service done by you.
Right.
And sometimes that signature may be, every time I go in there, the environment is so uplifting and positive that I go back before my 2-week feel or whenever, because the environment, I always, when I'm down, it has become a place of therapy for me.
Yeah.
There's always an encouraging word. There's always some tough love and advice. It's an open, vulnerable, transparent, safe place. That may be your brand. That may be your brand.
Right.
And
Very
I'm not,
well could be.
and I'm gonna just do something crazy. I'm gonna just say something crazy. Your nail shop, you may have it right now as Diamond Nails, but it may need to come to like the safe place. You know what I'm saying? The safe place nail salon, whatever.
Right.
I'm just going off top of the head, right?
Right.
But something that conveys what it is. A place of peace nail shop. You know what I'm saying? It's like a place of comfort, nail shop,
Right.
the
And you
comfort
feel
zone,
that. Mm-hmm.
right? People, and then live up to that
Right.
because you probably have a knack for making people feel seen, heard, and supported.
Mm-hmm.
That's your brand.
Right. People are tired of moving away from outside aesthetic
Mm-hmm.
and inside, or at least it has to match.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're so used to, or people are so good at giving you that outwardly aesthetic and appearance and all of the things, and not the inwardly, or they are not the same. They look
Yeah.
completely and totally different.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so they're looking more inwardly versus outwardly for that aesthetic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's somebody who said, I don't know which one of the guys said this, but essentially it says your brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's Chris Doe who said that. Your brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room.
Yeah, I want to
That's the
say that.
reality of your brand. What do they say about you when you're not in the room? And here's what transparency moment. Here's what I recognize. And this goes into my consulting. When I am in the room, when I'm in the room, and this is another thing that helped me realize it's time to pivot and get back to me. When I'm in the room, what people say about my brand, the brand that is me, is man, you're smart. Damon, you're bright. Damon, you're delivering. Damon, we appreciate this. Damon, I think you really made a difference. That's what they say to my face.
Mm-hmm.
But God has blessed me to be understanding, able to hear what they say behind my back when I'm not in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Damon's arrogant. Damon's harsh. Damon is demanding.
Mm-hmm.
I get a chance. So that's my brand. And guess what? The reason they see that brand, I don't even fault them. The reason they see the brand that way is because I got away from being authentically me. And authentically me is asking you questions and leading you to the answer.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to
Yeah.
say somebody is unless I ask you a question, give me an answer. I was like, that's dumb. You know what I'm saying? Unless I do
Right.
that. But
Right.
for on the real though,
Mm-hmm.
when I look at the brand
Mm-hmm.
and I say the brand name, right? Or when they get there, it's hard to say you're harsh, you're arrogant, you're this. When it's like, okay, Damon just led me to the answer. And here's the thing: over the years, I've had this is another one of those things. Like I knew, it's like over the years, I've had people who didn't like me asking all the questions that I asked in the
Mm-hmm.
moment.
Mm-hmm.
But when they got to a place where they had to stand on their own too, they appreciated it
Yeah.
because then they were able to run circles around other people because
Mm.
they knew how to think through a problem
Mm-hmm.
and they appreciated me after the fact, which means that when I was in the room, out of the room, they're like, "Oh no, he knows his stuff and he's going to help you grow."
Mm-hmm.
So,
Sure. Was that one of those people?
well, looks like we're coming up to a close. And if there are, I don't know if anyone has
I'm
any
sure. I don't know about
questions.
running circles around anybody
Yeah,
after getting the thingy, but yeah, I'm sure I was one of those people.
you sure? You sure? Hey, listen. You got anything else you want to add to the people before we get out of here?
Um, be authentic to you, authentic to the brand, and remember it is your reputation.
It's your
Yeah.
reputation. So, listen, if you have any questions about the brand, anything we shared tonight, feel free to reach out to us in DMs, what have you, and we're happy to connect and have some conversation and dig
Mm-hmm.
in with you. But listen, until go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say for the ones who think, oh, I thought they were talking about branding tonight or whatever. And usually, a lot of times when people say brand, and we've been there, or you think brand, you're talking about logos and
Mm-hmm.
names and all of the low hanging fruit, but not the in depth thing of what the brand really is. So that's what we got. You got a lot of tonight. Those other things we get to, but those are like the low hanging fruit things. Those are later, you know.
You said,
So
yeah.
so you have to start here. And I know this is one of the things where people go, "Oh, you're so turned off by um the real brand," I'll say it, or the
Hmm.
things that you really need to grow the brand, or even be the brand,
Hmm.
versus all the outside aesthetically things that I
Hmm.
just talked about, that we like: the website, the name, the colors,
The sexy stuff.
the sexy stuff,
Yeah.
the sexy stuff. And so yeah, so I just wanted to say that for the ones who goes, "Oh, they really didn't talk about branding." This is branding. This is a
That's
part
the
of brand,
real
and this
part.
is the real part, and this is where you start with your brand versus over here. And a lot of people like to start here.
Yeah.
And so it's so hard when you're trying to draw them or pull them back. It's like pulling teeth to
Yeah.
get to this part of it, because this is the part that nobody really wants to do or hear about branding.
Yeah.
So,
And you saying that does
mm,
remind me, like, even like I already have my logo pretty much designed for the new branding or
mm,
whatever. And what I would have done is put that out there. Hey, look, this mm-mm. When the rebranding hits the street,
mhm,
it'll hit the street. There's some hints around, but when the rebranding hits the street, it'll really hit the street hard. So, um, that's the thing. Like,
mhm,
it's a whole nother vibe, because you're right. It's easy to get the website, build the website, get the logo. I was able to design my logo in probably about an hour or so, and
mhm,
then tweak it and do all of that. You know, it's like, okay, I'm satisfied and happy with this logo. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day,
mhm,
those are not the things. Matter of fact, I would encourage you that if you go on this rebranding journey,
mhm,
don't let the first thing people see be the aesthetics.
mhm.
Let the first thing people see be the authenticity.
And the impact and how it's going to impact others.
Yeah.
Mhm,
Let that be the thing. They're like,
mhm.
oh, you're moving different. Yes. And
Yeah.
as a representation of that, there is no bigger logo than you.
Mhm,
You are the logo.
mhm.
Like Michael Jordan in this piece. You are the logo. So this is how we're gonna close this out. I'm glad you stopped me, because I was gonna let's we're gonna close it out this way. I'm gonna pray
Mhm.
for the success of your brand and its alignment with God's will for your life and
That's
the
good.
promises that He has for you. Most gracious and Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight, God, thanking you,
Yes,
praising
Lord.
you, magnifying you, God. We thank you that you're allowing us to go through this journey, that we might be able to share and show it to other people. Now, Father God, there are those who have tuned in. They have their brand.
Yes,
They
Lord.
are looking to align their brand with your life purpose, for your purpose for their life. And God, they're not sure. Some of them are emotionally attached to their brand. I've been there. I understand it. We understand it. God, some of them are attached to it because their brand has become their identity. So they don't even have a name, God. Instead of being, Damon Rich, I'm just a relationship GPT. I can relate to that. But God, I ask that right now you would give them clarity, guidance, support, coaches, mentors that they need, that if they are going to rebrand or even strengthen the brand that they had, get clearer on the brand that they have. They do not need to change anything other than refine their clarity.
Yes,
I pray
God.
that you give them everything that they need. And Father God, before you even let the money flood in, God, I pray that their impact account is overflowing and that their income account is not far behind. We thank you. We praise you for even the reports that we'll hear, that
Yes,
this
Lord.
very prayer, this very time, this transparency, this vulnerability that we've displayed tonight, God, will help them to confirm that they need to take the next step
Yes,
concerning their
Lord.
brand.
Yes,
God,
Lord.
we thank you that these are God led entrepreneurs.
Yes, Lord.
In your name we do pray. Amen.
And that's on yes and amen.
Yes and amen. There you go, being
Yes
corny
and yes,
again. Hey,
that's on yes and amen.
hey, listen, thank you for tuning
Just being
in.
authentically me.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Rich Conversations. We are going to be back in about 2 weeks. It's every other week. And we will, in our branding journey, we're going to also be making some shifts in how we deliver content, some things there. So we're looking forward to that as well. But until the next time, God bless.
God bless. Good night. And we love you for real.